Hey everybody, I am installing LOD Signature Series rock sliders on the Jeep. I may do a separate video just about why I'm installing them on the Jeep and how I chose them, but this video I just wanted to share just one specific tip that I find makes a huge amount of difference for me, and it's how to drill holes in thick steel. I guess any kind of thick metal, but especially thick steel is what I seem to have the most problems with. So I have a system for doing it. It's not, I'm sure there might be better systems for doing it, but this is what I use, and it seems to work and makes my life easier. So I was just gonna run through like what that is and you know, in case it helps anybody else. Ouch. For this install, I have to drill 7/16 holes in the frame of the chassis of the Jeep, and then actually tap those holes so that I can use bolts to screw the rock sliders on. So I don't know if you can see them here. It's getting a little dark out, but this is one I just drilled. This is another. There's one here. There's going to be a couple up under there. One thing that makes it a challenge is the drill I'm using is this really old old plug-in. I don't know how this is, how many amps it has, but that's 100. We have like a 4 amp drill. Fastest speed is 2500 RPMs. I mean, it's not a bad drill, but it's kind of getting old and it's not super powerful. So if I were to try to drill those holes with this, which is the 7/16 bit that is the actual final hole size, it's just really hard to drill like with that big of a bit straight into steel. It takes a lot of muscle, it takes a lot of time. So what I do is I kind of do a 3-step process. First I mark out the holes. The other thing is, it's hard to get it like perfectly lined up. Even this, like I'm drilling a 7/16 inch hole, but as I line it up, it gets messy. It's hard to make sure I'm square on that hole. So the way that I do it actually helps with that as well. So not only is it easier to get the holes drilled physically, it tends to be more accurate. So the way I do it is it's a 3-step process. I start with a small bit. I'm not actually sure what this bit is, frankly, and I don't have my glasses on my eyes right now, so maybe I'll put the size and the on text on screen here. But I start with a small bit and I drill a pilot hole, and I go through all the different holes I need to drill with this pilot bit, and that way I don't have to actually take the bit out and put the other bits in. I just do them all. Do all of the pilot holes, then I follow up, and at each step I do all the holes with the bit I'm using. That way I'm not taking them in and out the whole time, which is time consuming. Which I've done a few times on this, but I just realized that's silly, so why not just do them all at once? So again, this bit is small enough that I can really see that I'm lined right up in the center of the hole that I'm trying to drill, which is helpful. The other thing is I like these bits with the hexagonal backs on them so that they really get locked into the drill and don't spin while I'm drilling. I don't happen to have one for the final drill bit size that I'm using, which is 7/16. It's round, so it spins, which is annoying, and my drill is kind of old, so it really has trouble gripping it. But ideally I would have a hexagonal back on that as well. So again, I use the small bit, drill the pilot holes, drill all the pilot holes. And then next, this one's actually in the drill right now. I use this, I don't know if it's called a step bit or what it's called, but it has different steps. And I use that once you have the pilot holes drilled, this thing works amazingly well. And then you can just drill down to whatever size hole it is you're trying to drill, which is each step is marked so you can see which size the step is. So I do that, go around, drill all those out. My hands, there we go. That's smart. There's another tip for you. Cover your hands when you're shedding hot steel onto them. Ugh. Other tip is put something over your hands when you're drilling up, and the hot metal comes off and it'll burn you, which it did. So gloves or arm protectors, probably gloves and full length shirt would be wise, which I don't have on. Classic. Then once those are drilled, the only thing about this situation is that the steps on this bit, I don't know if you can see how wide they are not as wide as the actual steel I'm cutting. So even though I drill and get right up to the, like I get through the 7/16 step on this bit, it's not going to cut all the way through. So I really have to finish up with this larger 7/16 inch bit, which then I just go all the way through, and then, you know, it cleans it up. So that's kind of it. I do the three different steps, do each bit on all the holes so I don't have to swap them out. And then lastly, I do use this light cutting fluid. It's called Tap Magic EP Extra cutting fluid. You can use any cutting fluid, but it reduces the heat. I think that's the main thing, and seems to just make the process go more smoothly. I've definitely, I feel like I've killed some bits drilling into steel when I don't use this stuff, so it helps. I also use this, in this case I have to tap the holes so I can screw into them, so I'll use this when I'm tapping the holes as well. Alright, so I'm tapping it right now. So this will be interesting. This is the first time I've tapped pretty much anything. Maybe I've tapped smaller jobs in the past, but this is my first time tapping like a frame for sure. It's interesting. It's hard to get it, like, make sure it's straight in and perpendicular to the frame. Oh, there we go. Clean it out a bit. Make sure it's all the way through. All right, that's it. I hope that's helpful. Nothing too earth-shattering, but I just, when you're working with metal, any little tip can help, I know. So I'm hoping that's helpful for anybody who's trying to do what I'm doing right now. Just drill into the frame of a car. Maybe I'll add a photo of the rock sliders once they're on, so you can see how the project looks. And I may do a whole other video later on to show what it looks like, or talk about why I'm putting rock sliders on the Jeep and replacing the stock rails that were on it. See you next time.